What's up everyone, I'm Jessekazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. This is another Things Tarkov Doesn't Tell You video. We've done a few of these in the past, but there's a lot of things that Tarkov doesn't tell you. So we're going to dive into a few more things that you might want to know that the game doesn't really tell you. I stream Escape from Tarkov a few days a week. All my links will be down below. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing that we're going to go over is the fact that the different melee weapons in the game actually have different damages. Now, the game doesn't really tell you this, and it might seem irrelevant, but as you can see, the chop damage and the stab damage, and that is referring to the left and the right click. So right click, normally it takes up a little bit more stamina, but the right click has more damage when you're meleeing somebody. So you might want to do that. That's another thing the game doesn't really tell you. But the damages here, you can see 35, 44, 26, 25. Now, somebody's head has 35 damage, and there's quite a few melee weapons in the game that have less than 35 damage, and maybe even on the stab damage, the right click, they have less than 35. So it's something good to know, because if you are using your hatchet or a melee weapon for maybe at the end of a fight, or to hit scavs, or to level strength, because that is one way to do that, you might want lower so you can get more hits in if you're leveling strength, or you want my higher damage because you are going for the the click on the head and you want to kill somebody. So not all melee weapons are created equal, and there's many more than these two. There's like 8, 9, 10 different ones in the game, so that's something that you can be checking out while you're playing the game. The second tip is you can loot and put things on your inventory a lot faster by control and alt clicking something. So control left clicking will bring something into your inventory, not onto your person. So control click, and then I can do the same thing by putting stuff away into my stash, control click that. If I alt plus left click, it will equip an item, and then I can control click it back into my inventory. That works with guns, anything. Now, this is super helpful because all this works in raid as well. So if you're pulling stuff off of a scav or a PMC or somebody that you've looted, you can quickly, maybe get rid of your helmet and then just alt click theirs on their armor. If you have a weapon, and you alt click, this will just go to the primary slot or the secondary if you have a primary weapon. So that can be a much, much quicker way in raid to grab some loot really quickly, or if you just want to take their armor for later, you can just, control click it and it'll put it right into your backpack or whatever if there's space. So this is huge, especially when you're trying to loot just really quickly and just get out of there. That is huge. And then also just saving a ton of time, even while you're in your stash, being able to control and alt click things back and forth. It's just a time saver. The third tip is the quest inventory. So if you go to your tasks, you'll see these two things right here. Now, as you go through some tasks, there's a lot of things that you may need to go into, grab something. It's like a golden Zippo or a pocket watch or something, and grab that thing and then extract. And most of those quests, so when you do that, that item pulls up into your quest inventory. It's not an item that you can use in the game. Most of the time, all you have to do is extract, you turn that quest in, and then you're good to go. But sometimes there's a few quests, like Delivery from the Past is one that comes to mind, where you have to go into a raid, get something, go back into another raid, and plant that item. And if you die, you have to start the whole thing over again. Well, if you extract from the first raid with that item that you got, you can click on it. You'll see it in this inventory. You can click on it and you can move it to your off raid inventory, which means you can then go do other things, go do other raids. And if you die, that's okay because it's in your off raid inventory. But before you can finish that quest, you have to then bring it back into your in raid quest inventory, and then you can finish that quest. So this is very situational. Not a lot of times you're going to need to use this, but it is there for you if you wanted to do that. The next tip is the notes section for the quests. Now, the wiki has basically just about everything that you need to know about the quests and can be a really great thing to reference. But I see this as something that people can do if they only have one monitor and they don't want to be switching back and forth alt tabbing. They can, before they go into a raid, they can say, hey, I need rooms, 306 and, 213 are the rooms I need to go in. I can make this note, I can save it, whatever. And then that way you can kind of reference it in a raid. You just go over to tasks, look at the notes section, and you can reference that. So that is available for you, not, something that is going to be used all the time, but it's there. The fifth tip is the elite skill perks. So when you click on skills, it shows you all the different skills that you're leveling up. And once again, the wiki is a great place to learn like how to level these up. But something it doesn't tell you is that once you hit the max level, which is 51 for a soft skill, you get an elite perk, like a special bonus perk. They all have different ones. You can, use the wiki as a way to figure out which one is which. But just as some examples, the search skill, if you get search skill to level 51, you can search two things at the same time. And that being when you're searching a player or a scav, you can search their backpack and their pockets at the same time, or their pockets and their rig, which can be incredibly helpful when you're trying to loot quickly. Another good one is attention. When you get this level 51, the elite perk is that you have a 50% chance to just instantly search the entire bag, and you don't actually have to wait for each square to go through. You just, boom, it happens. Which once again, that as a combination, you know what I mean? These skills are really hard to level, and often the vast majority of players don't get to these elite levels. But if you get through the content that you want to get through fairly quickly, or maybe in the future when wipe cycles get a little bit longer or even potentially go away, it's good to know that there's something to grind for with these skills that affect your gameplay in some way, shape, or form. The next tip has to do with weapons and the muzzle velocity. So this was something that I was looking at a lot when I was struggling with a lot when I first started playing, and it was learning the drop and how to like lead shots if I'm trying to snipe, or at what distance do you have to do that. So Tarkov tries to simulate ballistics as accurate as possible. I'm not an expert in this type of stuff, but all I know is that the muzzle velocity of the gun, how fast that bullet's going to travel, has an effect on how much it's going to drop, which makes sense, right? So a lot of times like bolt action sniper rifles, especially ones like the Mosin that shoot really fast, you don't have to raise the reticle too high above their head when you're shooting at distance. It's something that you're going to have to learn and feel, and you can try the zeroing if you want in the game. But knowing that, as opposed to like an ASVAL, which only shoots at 295 meters per second, at any sort of distance, this is going to really struggle. You're really going to have to lead that shot or raise it up to get a headshot. So it's something to be aware of. There's no perfect formula where you're just going to know how to do it and know the perfect lead or the perfect drop or anything like that. But it's more of something like, the guns that you enjoy to run, just check this out as a guide or as a measurement for like, okay, this shoots pretty fast or this doesn't. And then just you can kind of continue to feel out how to like hit those marks every single time. The seventh tip is the found in raid indicator, which is this little check mark right here. And even when you hover over it, it says item found in raid. So you can see a lot of these armors I got back from insurance, so they're not found in raid anymore. And with the new changes with the wipe, if it's not found in raid, you can't put it on the flea market, with the exception of weapons right now. And then this will even turn yellow. When this is a yellow check mark, it means you found it in a raid and is something that you need for a quest. So a lot of times if it's like find in raid 7 lower half masks, you need that for a purport quest, there will be a little, in that raid, there will be a yellow check mark here. And even when it's in your stash, so it's letting you know, hey, before you sell this or use it or whatever, you might want to turn this in for a quest. If it's a multi-layered quest and you turn in all the ones you need and you haven't finished the rest of the quest, it'll still have the yellow check mark. But it's nice that there's a little indicator there for you so that you know that that's found in raid and you need it for a quest. The eighth tip is that the trader stock, they get restocked every 3 hours. So up here, this timer, most of all of these things have an actual limit, right? So for SP6, there's 320, SP7, there's 322,000 of them available. That's most likely not going to sell out. But for a lot of hot items or hot ammos that people buy a lot of, they can actually sell out. So a lot of times BP or even sometimes the 545 PP ammo can sell out in the early game. Ammos like BT and BS in the late game. Either way, if this number goes down to 0, it just will be blacked out and you won't be able to purchase that or any item, any gun, any item at all They reset their stock every 3 hours, and that's what this timer is. They used to all reset at the same time, but then it was really easy to kind of just like go through and buy everything and stuff would sell out instantly. So they all have different timers on them. So that's just something to be of note. If when you go to buy something and you see it's out of stock or something like that, just check how much longer you have. Most regular items aren't going to go out of stock, and if they do, it'll be right towards the end. So it's like, oh, maybe I just have to wait 2 or 3 minutes and that'll be good. But the traders will get new stock every 3 hours. And the 9th tip is that you can actually use kind of blind fire mechanics in Escape from Tarkov. It took me forever to figure this out. But if you are aiming your gun, or even just have it, if you hold Alt W, you'll do an over the head blind fire. So if I'm crouched behind this, I can do kind of a blind fire here. Now, this is hard to aim with a lot of the times. Obviously you wouldn't use a Mosin, you'd probably be using something with full auto, but the angle at which it raises your gun isn't just horizontal. It basically keeps relatively true to the aim that you had. So I'm aiming kind of there in the middle. My hands are going to shake. And then if I do that, instead of going straight horizontal, it kind of tries to keep where your aim originally was. Obviously, this is not something that you'd want to do at distance unless you're just suppressing your enemy. But if somebody's right around a corner or something like that, this is something that you could do. And once again, you probably wouldn't do this with a Mosin, but it tries to keep relatively your same aiming positioning up close. We hit down here. So it's, my hands are going to shake and stuff like that. But it doesn't just raise it up and keep it horizontal. It kind of angles it. So it's definitely a little weird to get used to. Sometimes you have to feel like if I want to shoot him in the head, I'd have to aim pretty far up. It's definitely weird and you'd have to feel it out. You can also do a peek around a corner. So if you're standing with the corner on your right, like there's a hallway down here, you can hit Alt and then S, and then that will pull my gun around this corner. Now, you can't go around another corner. This is the only way to corner blind fire, is just around a corner like that. So if there was a hallway down my left, I couldn't do that. But in those situations, kind of same thing. It takes a while to get used to it. A lot of people just come horizontal like this, and then they think they're going to be shooting down the hallway, when in reality, you're actually going to shoot like diagonal at like a 45-degree angle. So this is something I would definitely suggest, is that you go in an offline raid and maybe test like with a laser or something, and you can kind of see where these bullets are actually landing once you shoot them. But Alt W does an overhead, and Alt S does kind of to the left. The 10th and final tip is that you can actually do those same blind fire mechanics with grenades. Now, I've seen some people use this in some incredible implementations, but you can basically pull a grenade out or just aim your gun like this and then hit G, and he's actually going to throw it over his head, or the same thing like this. So you can position yourself, like factory hallway is a great for this. Up at the 3rd floor, the kind of death hallway there, you can position yourself around the corner. You basically point your gun where you want that nade to go. When you feel like you've got it down the corner, you hit G and hold. You got to hold the Alt and S, or hold the Alt and W, and he'll throw the grenade like that, which is really cool. So I've seen some people, and then you can even combine that with a lean. So Alt S and then E for the lean, to lean around the corner. So you can actually fully cover yourself behind the corner, be really close to the edge, hit G, and then pull a lean to throw the grenade. There's some really cool implementations for that really allow you to get a nade where you want it to go without exposing yourself. So that's it. Those are the 10 tips. I hope that you learned something, and there's something in here that can help you be more efficient in your raids. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you liked the video, give it a like or a comment down below if there's anything I missed, if there's any tips that other people you think might benefit from. I have done 2 other of these, things that Tarkov Doesn't Tell You videos. So if there's something that you think I missed, or if you're just looking for more things, definitely check out those videos. Think about subscribing to the channel for more Tarkov content like this. I'm always trying to help shorten the learning curve of the game and get you in your raids having fun as soon as possible. Like I said before, I do stream on Twitch. All my links are down below. We've got a Twitch, Twitter, and a Discord server where other players can help you out, or maybe even run some raids with you. But once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.